Hello everyone, XQ Crafting here. Welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today I'm gonna be showing you another project. It's a art journal page. And then I'm gonna be using my Dilutions journal for this project. I'm gonna be also using Distress ink. I'm gonna start with two colors of blue. One is Peacock Feather and the other one is Salty Ocean. I used a blending sponge there to spread the color on the page, and my intention is to make like a beach to celebrate summer. And I started with Peacock Feather, and that little handle that I'm using to, like the sponge that I'm using to spread the ink, is it has Velcro on it, so you can attach that little sponge and take it off to use for other colors too. Just like a reminder, I'm still a beginner in art journal, so I would not recommend doing a project in such a big journal. If I would choose, I would start in like a smaller book. I'm using this one just because I have it. I bought it a while back and I want to make sure that I use it. But if I would recommend something for you, if you're a beginner, it would be start with a small book. You don't have to start with such a big book, because it's a lot harder to think what you're gonna do on a page. But that's just my opinion. You might be totally happy with a big starting a big art journal, so that's really up to you. So I spreaded both colors together. And then for the sand, I'm using brushed corduroy, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name of that ink. And the other one is scattered straw, and they're kind of like a yellowish color. But if you have anything kind of similar, you can use that. It doesn't have to be the exact same colors. Then I just changed the sponge, and I started with the lighter color. And then I will spread the darker one right now, mostly close to what the water is, so the sand looks kind of wet. But later you're gonna see that I'm gonna darken up the edges just to frame it a little, because it was looking too plain. I just wanted to add some, I don't know, texture, interest on the background. I just spray a little bit of water in my hand, and then I just sprinkled on the page, and I use a paper towel to dry it out. The ink reacts with water, and I want a kind of that texture. That's why I did this. I'm using a Heidi Swap stamp, clear stamp, and I'm using Coffee archival ink because I wanted to add text to it. The stamp is separate, but I didn't want to take it off of the plastic of the actual back that it comes on, because it will give me a lot more trouble to stamp with it. So I just left it there. And then I'm using the Cobalt for the blue part, and that's also archival ink, just because that won't react with any other medium like water, any wet medium, if I decide to do anything extra on it. And I'm not trying to make a clear impression of the text. And by the way, you can use any text stamp you have, and just to give some interest, or you don't need to stamp it at all. It's really up to you. After I finished stamping, I just used my embossing tool. It's like a little thing, like container with powder on it, and then it has a little brush on the tip, the little tip is a brush. You just spread that little powder where you wanted to put embossing powder, just to help with the static. And boy, where I live, I do have a lot of static, so that's to help with that, so the embossing powder just stick to that place, not everywhere else. And if it does, you can still clean it with a brush, it's fine, but that will help a little. I use the embossing dabber instead of the embossing ink, the Versamark ink. But my embossing dabber, I think, is dry, because every time I tried to squeeze it out of it, the liquid out of it, it wouldn't work. So it was popping the lid out. So what I did, I just used a small brush to put the that liquid on the page wherever I wanted to put the embossing powder on. And once that's done, I'll just spread the put embossing powder on it, and then I'll melt it with my heating tool. It was like a little messy at the beginning, but it worked out fine. And the embossing powder I'm using is from Martha Stewart, and it's like bright white, but you can use any other white embossing powder you have. This one is gonna be really, really white, which is okay for me, but if you don't like, you might want to use something a little bit, you might want to use something that is not as white. So I spread it there. I just added a piece of paper below so I can catch the powder that it didn't stick to the page, and then I'll clean the excess, and I can put that embossing powder back on the little container. And just a reminder, everybody, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up, share with your friends if you like, comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer you. And I proceed with my heating tool just to melt the embossing powder. And then just to add a little bit of color on the page, I use stickers, and those stickers are old. I don't even remember where they came from anymore. I just have one of the stickers that I'm gonna use that it did come in a package that I bought, and is the one that came with the little ball, the beach ball. That's the only one I know where it came from because I bought it, and I bought it Tuesday morning a while back. And if you watch my videos before, you know that I explained that I rarely buy crafting supplies. Normally, I just buy like little tools if I need to. But most craft supply I bought years and years ago, years back, Tuesday morning and Michael's, but especially at Tuesday morning. So I don't work with crafting, I do it as a hobby. So I don't feel that it's necessary for me to buy more stuff until I used half of what I have. So that's why the materials I use is normally older stuff. And I wanted to use the quote beach day, but I didn't have a fun letter that would say day. So I just cut it the name happy birthday to use that to complete my quote. And I just glue it down, all the little stickers, and you saw that I was trying to figure out where everything was gonna go. And that's when I realized that the color looked a little bit faded, so I just added a little bit more of the blue on the blue side, both of them, both colors, and then just the darker color on the edges of the sand. By the way, I used a little bit of wet glue to glue that sticker, the name beach, just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And the last thing I did was just add highlights with my white gel pen, and I'm not trying to see where the lights are coming from and none of that. I wouldn't even know how that works. I'm just adding highlights here and there, and just to make things pop and look more dimensional. But that's it. The journal for today, it was like a very fast page. I just did it like in a few minutes. It normally takes me a while to make my pages because I have to stop and think, but this one was very easy. So I hope you try. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And I see you next time. Thank you. Bye.